Hi, Rachel Wright here for Just In Case You, and today we are taking a field trip to talk with Jane Hirsch of Jane Short and Sweet, and she makes incredible shortbread cookies, both savory and sweet, and as well as body scrubs, and I can vouch for them firsthand. Jane actually has a very unique business model, though, where she uses her for-profits for a not-for-profit foundation called the 306 Foundation. So today's segment is about any of you guys that are interested in starting a charity. Just in case you, Jane is the woman to go to for the info. Give them, or what piece of advice do you wish somebody had given you when you were just starting out, when you and John were starting out?
Sure. I think that what we're doing really served a niche that wasn't served quite yet, or no one had come to meet that need. And I think really when someone has an idea of developing a charity, what's really important is to understand what's already going on in the community.
So just make sure there's no replication of efforts.
Exactly. And because if you want people to be involved in that organization and in that charitable work, if there are other things going on that are similar, it's going to look redundant, and it may not even be necessary. So for you to go through all of that work and effort to develop something that's already been done, it would be a much wiser use of resources to come alongside that existing organization.
Makes sense. When you're starting out, what type of either professionals or people in the community did you want to surround yourself with to ensure Toolbox for Life's success?
Well, people who were smarter than us, that's for sure, and that wasn't hard to find. But I think also professionals who are doing similar work, not the exact same kind of work, pursuing, as John did, other organizations that were doing it all across the country, perhaps not in a very specific way, but we've developed partnerships with other organizations across the country to learn from them and glean from them what's worked well, and also understand what their pitfalls have been, in the hope that perhaps we wouldn't replicate that within our own program. We've found a way to make our own mistakes. But I think really smart people, really investigating what's already going on in the community, what's going on in the country, is really important to develop and create a really healthy foundation for your own organization.
Great. I heard a stat once that over 80% of all foundations actually fail in the first 5 years. So the first 5 year or half a decade is critical. What do you think Toolbox for Life and 306 Foundation did differently that ensured that you are still here today talking with me?
I don't have any idea. But the reality is, I think we came into it in a posture of learning and wanting to understand what we could do well, to be willing to learn from other professionals, to learn what was going on in the community, and learn and understand what was needed. We didn't try and fill a need that wasn't there. We saw a need and then pursued trying to meet it.
Right. One of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, besides that you have great cookies and phenomenal body scrubs, is that you have an interesting business model in that you utilize the profits from Jane Short and Sweet to help fund what you're doing on the not-for-profit side. So kudos to you for being able to think that way. But
well, we're not giving millions yet.
Yet, but I like the yet. So explain a little bit as far as how you came up with that idea, or how long that's been going on.
Sure. Well, from the get-go, I still had my day job when I started to incorporate and get permitted and insured and all the other things that are necessary to produce an edible product in Florida. And at that time, we loved the idea of making millions, but what would we do with those millions? And we wanted to make an exceptional product, but we wanted it to have even greater bounce in the community. So what did that look like? And that's when the whole concept of sex trafficking started to come in to the CNN eye, as it were, and people started to become more and more aware. So as John was getting involved in anti-trafficking organizations and lending his admin skills, there were a couple of situations where we had underserved women crossing our path. And when we came to understand everything we read, we saw, we traveled, we used to work overseas, people we spoke with, it just is distilled down to one truth, and that is where women and children have equal access to healthcare and education, it's not just them who thrive, but it's the entire community. So that's when kind of the light came on, and I said, yes, that's where I want to commit those profits, how minimal they may be, but that was kind of a neat bounce to already creating an exceptional product. And that's kind of what started John on his journey to begin looking into what developing the foundation might look like, and how we would address needs in a really proactive way that would give women an opportunity to kind of understand. And that's why Toolbox for Life is Toolbox for Life, because it's not just the tools sometimes that women don't have, but it's the actual toolbox that hasn't been built into them. So we're trying to give them the resources and the capacity and start to build into them the confidence that they can do it.
If someone is looking at starting a charity, where would you point them to first? To vet the idea, or to, you know, gain some traction to turn their vision into a reality?
Again, I think it is a wise process to seek out people who can counsel, who are wise, who maybe speak truth and grace into your life, maybe people within that charitable world who have maybe been there and done that along the way and might have some insight to offer. So really it's just like we did, just seeking out people who are smarter than you in that very arena. And having a good attorney too.
Any parting words, things that I haven't asked that, again, that would have helped your learning curve boil down to like almost bumper sticker length? If you had just
It wasn't really a horrible process, except that at the time we filed for our 501c3, it was when a little bit of IRS hysteria was bubbling up, where it was taking an extremely long time for 501c3s to get approved. So what typically...
How long is long?
Well, normally, allegedly, it only takes a few months, and it took us well over 18 months. And so we had kind of developed an infrastructure, and we were ready to go, and so we were treading water for a really long time. So I think having resources available while you're in the hurry up and wait mode, resources, being able to maybe use that time to volunteer or work with other organizations, because you're only building into your own toolbox to be that much better when your charity actually does get off the ground.
Thank you. So I'm back in my mobile office, and thanks so much, Jane, for sharing your advice on just in case you want to start a charity. And for those of you who want to check out more about the 306 Foundation, you can find out info at 306foundation.org. And for those of you who want a guilt-free way to go buy cookies and some sumptuous body scrubs, you can go to janesshortandsweet.com. Until next time, it's Rachel at Just In Case You.